For many small businesses, hiring a graphic designer or illustrator can seem like a daunting task. So here are 8 things that you must know before you hire a creative pro for your next project. My name is Brittany Lewis, and I am a creative entrepreneur with over a decade of experience working with independent creators and small businesses with their graphic design and illustration needs, and I want to help you hire like a boss. Number 1. Have an idea of what you want. Now, this probably seems like the most obvious thing in the world, but the more prepared you are to actually articulate that idea, the better your designer or illustrator of choice can provide accurate information, including pricing and proposed scheduling. A seasoned professional such as myself will ask as many questions as possible to determine the scope of work involved in your project. This isn't to get all in your business or to farm for ideas. And I say this because a lot of clients that I've had who have never hired a professional before tend to be a little bit secretive about what they're looking for, and it can be like pulling a sucker from a toddler to find out what exactly the project is. But we ask these questions to be able to create an offering specific to your requirements, and it offers your professional of choice all of the information that they need to determine how they can best be of service. In my practice, if you're local to me, this is usually done face-to-face, but the majority of my clients are nationwide, so we do this on a Zoom. Number 2, have a goal in mind. So to piggyback off of knowing what it is that you want, it can also be helpful to have a goal in mind. So this looks like knowing when you'd like to launch, for example, what audience you want to reach, where you see your company in the long run, and how you intend to use the art that you're having commissioned. What's the overall objective? So having a goal in mind can help your professional of choice create work tailored specifically to your vision and to your company's vision, which can also help to attract your ideal audience. A great example of this would be children's books. So a children's book written for a kindergarten will look and read completely different than a book on the same subject that targets middle schoolers. The same goes for branding and logo designs. Sometimes the request is for a new or revamped logo, but the need is really for better visibility and clearer brand identity, which can be achieved through other means. So you want to make sure that you're clear on your goal to help paint a picture for your creative professional to make images perfectly suited for you, your desired audience, and your desired outcome. Number 3, have a timeline and plan for contingencies. So planning and executing a quality project takes time. Please do not wait until the last minute to hire a graphic designer or illustrator. This can save you lots of time and money in the long run. In an era of instant gratification, we often have unrealistic expectations of how long things outside of Amazon should take. A good rule of thumb is to give yourself at least 6 months before you wish to launch your project or your business to hire your creative professional. This doesn't mean that it'll take 6 months to finish your project, but giving yourself at least that much time helps to plan for any hiccups along the way, and it helps to ensure the best possible outcome. If you're in a hurry, just know that it's not uncommon for a creative professional to charge for a rush fee for your last minute work. It is not our responsibility to make up for your lack of planning. So to save yourself time, money, and a headache, give yourself at least 6 months. Number 4, do your due diligence. So one of the hurdles that I face is working around people's preconceived notions of what hiring a creative is like. There's a lot of misinformation and unrealistic expectations around hiring graphic designers and illustrators. And unfortunately, it's often punctuated by stories of some of other people's negative experiences. As a matter of fact, a lot of the content that I've seen around hiring professionals is almost always told from the perspective of beware of the big bad creative. They're out to get you and take all your money. The thing is, there are tons of ethical and reputable graphic designers and illustrators out there. It's a matter of connecting with the right people. I look at it like this. There's way too many logos out there floating around, way too many ad campaigns and websites popping up for everybody to be having a hard time hiring creative. So the perspective is a little bit skewed. So how do you combat this, right? So the easiest thing that you can do is to do your due diligence. I want you to thoroughly research the person that you're wanting to hire. With so many reports of people being taken advantage of, it can be a bit of a challenge to trust people you've never met. And I get it, especially for first-time projects and first-time clients. But doing a little due diligence and selecting your artists that you want to work with can reduce your risk significantly. Don't be afraid to ask questions. about their creative process, or anything else as it pertains to your project. This will be a good gauge of their professionalism and to see if there's someone you want to work with. And if you don't feel comfortable with the artist, don't hire them. It's that easy. Don't try to make a person fit your mold, and don't ignore red flags. There are thousands and thousands of talented creators to choose from. Number 5, not all artists are created equally. So make sure that the artist that you're choosing to work with works in a style best suited for your project. Not all graphic designers are illustrators, and not all illustrators are skilled in graphic design. So make sure that you're well researched in the strengths of the people that you wish to work with. A great way to gauge the designer or illustrator skill level is through their portfolio or any other online presence where you can see their work. Number 6, you get what you pay for. The more experienced a professional is, the higher the price tag is likely to be. You pay for their skill, their expertise, and the value that they bring to your project. While on the other hand, less experienced professionals and students alike are going to cost a lot less to work with, but you don't get that same level of expertise that you might get with a seasoned veteran. Likewise, third-party sites such as Fiverr and Upwork will cost much less than hiring a creative entrepreneur, but you get what you pay for. If hiring from those sites is where your budget lies, then that's perfectly okay. It's just a good rule of thumb to, lower your expectations a little bit. For some, these sites can be a great starting place, right? But they aren't great for a tailored experience, and they definitely are not good places to gauge the industry standard prices. Something else that I've noticed is that a lot of negative experiences that we hear about are from these types of sites. So be careful in these spaces. Your budget can have a deep impact on the type of service that you receive. Either way, as you grow, so too will your desire for an elevated service experience. If push comes to shove, you can always save to work with the more established creators, or you can seek additional funding to be able to hire the more top-rated creatives. Number 7, be prepared to sign a contract and pay a non-refundable deposit. So any reputable service provider will require you to sign an agreement and to pay a deposit to begin services. This helps keep everyone involved honest and on the same page, and it locks in their time. So this contract should be explicit in your terms and conditions as well as the scope of work. This includes the deliverables. Another way of saying this is what you get for the amount of money that you pay, any applicable fees, the number of revisions that are allotted for your project, and other important matters that need to be in writing. Number 8, be aware that hiring someone to create work for you does not guarantee you to those copyrights. This is important, and I don't think it's talked about often enough or thoroughly enough. So there are 2 types of contracts, which we'll get into a little bit later. These are work for hire agreements and licensing agreements. Each has their own pros and cons for the client and the creator, and each can be written in a way as to give exclusivity to the client. But it's always a good rule of thumb to be fully aware of the copyright agreement of your project. If, for instance, you're hiring someone to illustrate a children's book for you, unless specified in your agreement, you do not own the copyrights to those illustrations. So when it's time to copyright your work, you can only copyright the part that you contributed to the project, which in this case is the manuscript and vice versa. The artist can only copyright what they contributed, which will be the illustrations. It is not uncommon to have to pay a premium for copyrights. It's like a musician signing over their masters. In most cases, a well-informed artist will only do so at a much higher price point. So that wraps up 8 things that you need to know before hiring a graphic designer or illustrator for your next project. I wanted to create this video because I've worked with a lot of clients, especially recently, who have never hired a professional before, or people who are coming off of negative experiences or less than professional experiences. And it dawned on me that although it's our job as creative entrepreneurs to help guide the creative process, there's really not a lot of information out there geared specifically towards small businesses and independent creators from the perspective of people who actually do this for a living. So if you like this video and you want to see more about the process of working with a graphic designer illustrator from the perspective of a professional, be sure to leave a thumbs up and drop a comment below. And until next time, peace.